Hello. Hello. Welcome to Learning the Law Election Edition and Storytime Edition. So I want to tell a story, but I'm going to set it up a little bit first. Okay, so we are in a time where I've talked about this. How many of us have watched the movie The Secret? How many of us have been trying to figure out how to manifest that $1 million? How many of us still haven't figured it out? But the reality is that we know theoretically that we manifest our reality, right? And we also know that we manifest our reality by our thoughts and our beliefs, also by what we see, and also by what we hear repeatedly. I actually saw a really great meme recently that likens the ear to a womb. And when you hear things, that gives birth to, you kind of internalize it, and then it gives birth to the manifestation. So what we hear is our news telling us what's going on politically. And we are also very much aware, all of us are aware, it's not just Fox News. It's not just Fox News that has an agenda. These are all corporate media outlets. I'm not trying to say anything is evil, okay? It's a capitalist society. It functions the way it functions, okay? And we've become so capitalist, we don't even acknowledge, like, as long as it's making money, it's good. And that's kind of what this election came down to, was like, one candidate stood for like taking care of people and making sure people have a fair chance, and the other candidate was just like money. And according to the election results, that was the choice that the American people made. I keep saying it, I don't feel it in my heart that the election was true, that this election is, the outcome is true to what the people actually voted for, but this is entertainment purposes only. This is only my opinion. But let's talk about that what's in my heart, my wish. My wish is for this country to be what the Harris-Walz ticket voiced and expressed and visioned for us, okay? That is my wish. But what did we all grow up with, especially if you're Gen X or Boomer, Millennial and Gen Z, maybe not so much, but we grew up with this story, and this is where I go to the story, and this is where we're going to head into the story. We grew up with this saying that was, you'd say, oh, I'd really like this. I wish this could happen. And you'd have a well-intending but buzz-killing father, uncle, generally a masculine influence in your life. Women said this too. I just shouldn't put it that way. But basically, you would say, oh, I wish this, or I would love that, and I wish XYZ. And they would say, well, I'll tell you what, here's what you do. Why don't you wish in one hand and shit in the other and see which one happens first? And we all know which one's going to happen first. It's the shit. Okay? It's the shit. So this is where I want to come in with the parable about wishing versus shitting. Okay? Wishing for versus shitting on. All right? And the parable goes like this. There was a land in which all of the people had a modest level of comfort, varying levels of wealth, but even the poorest had some certain amenities, such as devices that transported information from all over the world into their homes. And eventually, this land of such wealth developed new devices that made those portable, that could be held in your hand, and you could get all that information on the screen in your hand wherever you went. And in this land, it became almost expected that you would have one of these devices. Not only one in your home, but many, preferably one in every room, so that you could always be abreast of what is going on. Also, the phones. Everyone has a phone. Again, even of varying income levels, everyone has one of these portable information devices that is able to bring you information directly to you at any hour of the day. It's a magical land, and it's actually quite remarkable. So, there are people, of course, who have more wealth than others, who are able to determine things that they would like the population to think and to feel based on what suits them best. These are people who really don't have a concern whether or not these people are thriving. These are people who create jobs, who take jobs and move them away from this land, and then blame other people. That's not part of this tale. But there are the leaders of this land, or the people who hold the most wealth, who are able to purchase the ability to tell what they would like the population to think. And they create stories, they create news stories, or they respond to things that actually happen. And if the people go, I don't think I like this, they create stories for telling to the people of the land how they should really see this situation, that it's not as bad as they think. Don't change the system. The system is A-okay, and you just need to get on board with it. And if you're not one of us, which we haven't designed it for you to be one of us, we just need you to have the hope that you can be one of us, then as long as you vote for us and our best interests, you will kind of get swept along that tide, and you will be part of that wealth. However, that hasn't really been the case. And the people of the land have started to see this. And there's two sort of types of stories that these two main leadership teams tell. One is simply profits at all cost, and one is more we have to take care of people, but the people who are profit all cost can't bear the thought of paying for any of these or relinquishing any of their dollars to help other people be able to lift themselves up so that they can contribute as well. Also not part of this story. The gist is that the wishing in one hand and the shitting in the other hand. When we create a wish in this hand, when the people of the land create a wish in this hand, until the advent of these personal devices that we hold in their hands, they weren't able to collectively know that other people wanted those wishes, because the other people were feeding them the wishes of their system. And so that system kept feeding them and feeding them and feeding them. And what happens when you digest a lot of being fed is that there is excrement. And so that excrement landed in this hand. And so it has been very true that you can wish in one hand and shit in the other. And the shit is what will happen first, because we are constantly fed a diet of what the people who are making all the money want. It's in our news, it's in our infotainment that they present as news, it's in our angertainment when we try to find answers because we're upset that things aren't working out for us, that the system is not working for us, but the system is working. The system is working for the ones feeding us the garbage, and it ends up as shit in our hands. So that is why it is very true that you can wish in one hand and shit in the other, and the shit will happen first because we are fed a steady diet of that shit. Now, I just spilled the shit in my lap when I put my hand up. Now, what those in control did not realize is that during this time when everyone moved from a stable information box in their homes to a portable one in their hands is that they were able to find niches of people who maybe don't live in their city or even in their state or even in their country. But they're able to find these groups of people who think the same way they do and have the same wishes that they do. And so people are starting to be able to wish and see that maybe if we wish collectively, we can make our wishes happen. And that is what we are in the process of. And that's what's changing. And this election, was right on the cusp of the wishing versus the shitting. And it appears for now that the shitting has continued to win. But the people who are wishing are holding strong, actually. And that is why right now I am feeding myself a diet, literally, of psychics and tarot readers who are holding the vision of what we really want. Because I'll tell you right now, what I'm seeing in the news and what I'm seeing in my infotainment is not what I want. Those are people who look at the data and analyze it straight away. And then what do you get? Shit. So I am focusing on people who are focused on what we want. And that is where we need to go as a country. And that is what we want as a country. So, in order to get what we want as a country, we need to continue wanting what we want and being clear about what we want and then expressing what we want to our public officials, because I'll tell you what, they do what we want them to do. Just look over the past years with the Mango Mustafa in charge. They've done what he's wanted. I don't know what kind of thugs he has working for him, and I don't want to know. But all I know is that politicians move with the wind. And when our wind starts blowing, it's a much more beautiful wind. It smells so much better than this wind. Okay? And they don't even like this wind. They're just doing it because that's how it is. Because that's what we've been fed. Can't change it. Oh, politics are corrupt. What you gonna do? Is we wish. And we don't just wish. We follow the wishes up with actions, okay? And this is where we all start coming up with ways. And there's people who know what to do with those wishes. And there's people who know how to act on those wishes. And there's people who just need enough people who want those wishes to happen to be able to enact on those wishes. So we have to hold strong on our wishes and let the politicians know our wishes so that they know that that is the direction the country is going, and we no longer want this. We don't want it anymore. We're tired of it. We've been holding it. We've been trying to make it work. It's been fertilizing for other people, but not for the majority of us. So let this go, throw it out the window, all right? And let's start letting the wishes manifest. Let's give the wishes time to become what we want them to become, all right? So the next time somebody tells you, well, that's great and all, but you can wish in one hand and shit in the other, just say, go ahead and shit your hand then, all right? I'm going to keep focused on what I want. And when I stay focused on what I want will come into play. I'm going to end on one final note here. I was listening to another intuitive who was talking about how the intentions, the people with these intentions came in and they shit on the intentions of everybody else. Because that's what they're used to doing. They're used to having their wants fed and then create the shit and then have us consume it. And right now we're like wiping the shit off of us, trying to figure out what happened first of all. And then we're trying to figure out how to make our intention the stronger intention. And that's what I'm trying to say today. They came at us with, we thought our attention was good to go. But they came, and I'm frustrated by it too. Like, oh, the arrogance of it. But they're used to it. They're used to getting what they want. And they don't really even see it as a problem. They just see it as they should get what they want. And they don't know us enough to know that we know. So we have to hold our intention strong. So wipe it off, shake it off, shower it off. We all feel dirty right now. I know I do. So let's clean it up and let's stay focused on what we want. And this is hard. We are really having to work for this democracy, aren't we? Holy cow. Is this what it is? Is this what it is? Is constant work? Kinda. I mean, I guess we've seen what happens when we don't hold them accountable. So that's where we're at. So just remember, keep on wishing. They can keep feeding us, but we're going to keep strong on what we want. So keep on wishing and keep on expressing those wishes as valid political action. Thank you.